Do you like monster films? I bet you do. All of them. The Wolfman, Godzilla, Planet 51. Drenge's new album seems to unfold itself very similarly to a monster film, even enjoying that same tension as the usual horror but with a grotesque and theatrical air, which is good because I was hoping this Drenge album would sound nice because their name doesn't. I was a little passive on Drenge's music before. It was undoubtedly pilled with an ear for noisy garage rock with the spirit of punk smuggled in there. Not too mid to be royal blood but not too raw to be the Witches. I get excited when I hear a band be unkempt and rockin', hand horns in ear. But the self-titled album suddenly forgets this halfway through and wallows in the slow jam sauna for the rest of the runtime, as if it unexpectedly took a detour from what it was good at and got a bit lost. There's room for switching it up, but I do get bothered when a band have such a rampant energy going for them at the start of the album and then they decide to stop at the park bench and take a break. Like Drenge in question here regarding their first album. They actually used that as a turning point for the rest of the track listing and continued to take it slow from here on out. I understand that pacing is a thing, but a lot of the time this actually stutters that and leaves you a little bit annoyed, like walking behind someone on the sidewalk who's moving a little bit too slow for your liking. Strange Creatures isn't actually different from this. There is a point right in the middle where the album slows down, but before it leaves me sitting there slouched and blue-balled, it does something unexpected and makes the slow part of the flow. This album satisfied me like Sunday lunch and gives you those campy theatrical thrills that an over-the-top monster film might. Such runs pretty clearly through the lyrics like a chase scene at the heart of the movie, from the opener that describes an unnamed chaos plowing through the city as the protagonists hopelessly wait to be claimed a casualty in this destructive scene, or how the song Prom Night unfolds, a school ball gone hopelessly wrong as attendants genuinely die. The music actually does a whole lot to accompany these concepts ever since the expansion of the instrumental palette, perhaps for the better. Not only does lead vocalist Owen Loveless channel his inner Robert Smith as he wails passionately and not precisely, with equal parts helplessness and boldness, the instrumentals are often shrouded in a thick cloud of guitar wash. A lot like Robert Smith, actually. Alright, so there's a lot of Cure comparisons that I could draw here, but at least it's a better sell than the umpteenth mind map line between Arctic Monkeys or Franz Ferdinand, which, by the way, probably could be given to some of the straightforward and catchier indie pop standards like Autonomy and This Dance, as well as the admittedly drab Teenage Love. These songs all have quirks like the dark cloudy atmosphere mentioned before, the roaring guitar lines, and even a time signature with an extra beat in each bar, but the album doesn't truly come into its own until the title track, and even then the better material doesn't really reveal itself until right after. Said title track has a rather stiff and awkward exchange between the titular utterance on the chorus and a shrill 3-note guitar melody. It's a bit of a disappointment. The sinister air is there, but the song ends up stagnating instead. The sinister air is best executed on the opening track, actually. Bonfire of the City Boys grabs the prize for the unmistakable best track, with its verses being more like urgently shouted descriptions of the chaos unfolding around them and an undeniable riff that roars during the final quarter, but the rest of the album doesn't play on that urgency, or at least not on that level without slipping into pop concessions, which, by the way, aren't necessarily a bad thing, but it just feels a little out of place from the rest of the album. While the remainder makes unexpected swerves towards gothic ballads and sultry saxophones, and at the risk of making my thoughts even more unnecessarily convoluted, it's those moments that turn out to be the best. Never See the Signs and Avalanches, while a little bit smudgy, have such a convincing atmosphere to them that when the anthemic melodies poke through the fog, I can't help but feel a little bit enlightened. Not that I'm free from the monster that lurks in the shadows, just that the lights come on and I can actually see what I've been running from for the past 40 minutes. It's a bit weird how Drenge have played out for me. I didn't really think I wanted slow jams judging from their previous work, but slow jams ended up making the bulk of what I enjoyed on Strange Creatures and carried the gothic weight of the experience like a supernatural satchel. A 6 out of 10 for me, as its brief moments of true urgency and stirring paranormal veneer help you to realize it's more than just your usual guitar tunes, because they have saxophones as well.